Welcome, I'm Deb Shepard. I'm your host of Spirited Straight Talk. Thank you for joining me on this amazing spiritual journey that we call life. You're in the right place and you didn't land here by accident. My intention is to help you learn to free yourself of things that are holding you back and create a life that truly makes your soul happy. I'll be talking about key insights and interesting topics to help you learn how to powerfully co-create with the universe. I will cover everything from turning your setbacks into triumphs, and my favorite, living your soul's purpose. Of course, I'll be connecting you with spirit, your guides, and the favorite one, of course, is your loved ones on the other side. If you're ready to truly stop spinning circles, and you're ready to harness the power to co-create an authentic life with spirit, then I hope you join me every week for Spirited Straight Talk. I'm so glad we're here today because I have something I want to talk about, because I've talked about this topic for years, but it came to me how to have people understand it even deeper and how it works. And it's about energy.
Okay.
And I love Einstein. You know, science is such a big deal, even though I didn't do well in science and I get a little overwhelmed with science. But I like the idea of how science gives us proof of things. And one of them is how Einstein, the theory of, is it E equals mc squared? Is that what it's about? Is that what he created? All those people out there.
Energy and mass are connected.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one of the things that he talked about was how energy cannot be created and it can never be destroyed. And I really, truly believe that with what I do for a living, that when we die, our energy still continues, which is why I can do my job as a medium. But the one thing that I've talked to people about over the years is how to spend your energy and what energy does to your life and how it can affect so many different things. And so the theory that I'm coming up with is how energy is a currency and how we use this currency and how we get depleted and how we get overwhelmed. And we don't realize that we have a certain amount of currency of energy, but then how are we utilizing it? And so I wanted to take this podcast into understanding how we are using this currency. If we look at money, we have dollar bills and things like that.
Yeah.
So we exchange what we do for a living with money. So if you are an athlete or you're a teacher or like what I do or anyone else, you're getting paid for what energy you're expending, and there is a different value for what people do depending on, like, if you go to a surgeon, things like that, there's going to be, I don't know why I came up with that, but that just came to my mind, how different things are asking us for more currency or money to be paid to that person. But it's also one of those things is how are we using it in our everyday life, thinking of energy as a currency. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was thinking about is how people come to me or when I'm teaching and they talk about how exhausted they are, or they're just very spent, or they feel they can't get everything done. There's not enough time in the day.
Right.
And we all meet those people that just suck the life out of us. You even dread meeting them or taking the phone call because you know you're going to be exhausted.
And we've been listening to a book recently, too, that talks about how we have these limiting beliefs and we wake up in the morning thinking about how can we accomplish everything we need to accomplish. We're already behind.
Correct.
From the second our feet hit the floor, we're in this mindset of scarcity.
Which means that you're losing your currency.
Right.
Because you're waking up thinking that you're already desperate.
Okay.
There's not enough. And so really when I started getting this idea, it really makes a lot of sense in my head. So it's explaining this, how people actually live a life where they're always feeling maybe, they're judging others or they're judging themselves or they're feeling a lack of, like you said, the scarcity. So how do we begin to understand that how this energy currency can actually help us in our everyday life? So I came up with this idea that let's say that you get 1,000 energy currencies a week. So that'd be 4,000 a month, which is, that's
a lot.
It's a lot. But then we want to look at how are you using that currency. So it's just like our money. If you think about the things that you have to pay for, your room and board and your insurance and your car and those kind of things, your clothing.
Cell phone.
Cell phone. Yeah. So all these things, you budget how much money you have to what you can do, and then what is an extra part of that money that can you use for other things.
Okay.
So if you have energy as a currency, all of that is used by negative and positive energy. So the positive parts of ourselves actually add to our currency. The negative pieces take away our currency. So by the end of the month, where is your currency? Is that making sense?
It is, because what you were saying is people come to see you and they feel so depleted and they feel like they have no energy. Mm-hmm. So what are they spending their energy on? Right. That makes perfect sense. There's an imbalance somewhere.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've obviously recognized is how people have to take care of everybody else before themselves. And that's really woven into women's belief systems. You know, we're the caretakers, we're the givers. It's important that everyone else is okay. And I know men do this too, but women seem to have more of that feeling that they owe the world before they can be taking care of themselves. Mm-hmm. So every time that you're giving and you're taking away that currency, then you're not having any left for you.
Right.
So
that makes sense, yeah.
The first thing is creating that balance of how much am I spending on others versus how much am I spending on myself. And it doesn't mean that you're selfish. It means that you have self-love and you need those currencies in order to help others. You know, when you deplete yourself, there's nothing else to give. So it's sometimes just slowing down. It's looking at how we believe every day, what we think. And I think that people don't realize that their thoughts create energy.
So even your thoughts are going to take away or add to your energy purse.
Right. And I thought about this with a lot of people that they don't think they're victims, but they always feel as if, oh, you know, they have a better life or they have it easier or why can't I have that? And why does she spend her money on that?
Or I did this for this person and they don't appreciate it.
Correct.
And now I'm the victim.
Right. Mm-hmm. So to me, those types of belief systems and that energy is going to deplete that currency, the energy currency, which then you don't have anything left at the end of the week or the end of the month.
Got it.
And when you're not happy for other people, you're not being supportive, if you're angry always at your situation, that again is going to deplete that currency. And again, think of taking out money in your checking account every time you do that. And one of the thoughts that I had is just imagine every thought or belief system or reaction is worth 25 energy currencies. And it's kind of like the Bitcoin, huh?
Yeah.
You don't know what to do with it.
You can't touch it. You can't see it, but you feel it.
That just came to mind. I love that. So it's looking at how much energy.
So it's called e-coins.
E-coins, absolutely. Energy coins. So when you're looking at, when you get up in the morning, like you said, and you're like already overwhelmed, or you driving in traffic and going, oh, the traffic, and you know, there's always this feeling of woe is me, or things are difficult, or things are challenging, and watching that depletion of your energy currency. Mm-hmm.
On a daily basis, you know, and we've been thinking about this recently, is on a daily basis, how many thoughts do you have of scarcity all day long? I feel like that's really our culture.
It is.
It's been woven into our culture for so long that we don't even realize we do it as a society.
Right. And, you know, I think the pandemic has really affected some of that scarcity. I mean, look what we do with toilet paper, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
If you think about that, we were all worried about cleaning our behinds versus, you know, we're having a pandemic. And it wasn't about, can I find other ways to deal with this? It was, I need to get
toilet paper.
I mean, it's kind of funny.
It's so comical thinking about it now.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness we weren't in that situation.
Well, we made a solution. We bought bidets for toilets, right?
Before the pandemic, we had that, thank goodness.
Yeah, we were just like, you know what, we're
fine.
Yeah, be part of the solution. But people go into that, what if I don't have any toilet paper? I'm like, seriously? I mean, that's where we go in that fear state if we feel like
there's no other solutions.
And it's funny, but it's not funny.
I know.
I mean,
it's that scarcity mindset.
Absolutely.
It's a humorous way to talk about it, but that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. And we're also thinking, like right now we see so many places looking for employees.
Yeah.
What we're hearing is we don't have enough employees to run our company. So again, we're feeling this scarcity, this energy currency that is again going, how do I run my business? How do I do this? And how do I make changes? So again, we're in that energy currency again that we're creating. And I think it's
E-coins.
E-coins. I think we should sell e-coins.
Coin our phrase.
Coin our phrase. And I think the other thing is when we talk about individuals, this is a great example if you're not sure how this fits in your life, is when you are with somebody and you go, God, they just drained me. Think of that being actually a slot machine where you're putting in all your money and the casino keeps taking it.
Yeah.
And what you're hoping is to hit that jackpot to get back your money. But gambling is part of a whole, it's entertainment. It's, taking the risk and can I do this? So again, if you think about being at a casino and putting that energy currency in there and the casino keeps taking it, that's what you're doing in your personal life.
You know what vision I'm having right now as you explain this is somebody's mouth eating the coins.
There used to be a game. What was that game? We were
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. So it's a Pac-Man taking that energy.
Yeah.
And we have the ability to shift that so we can have more energy currency. But what we do is we stay in that pattern and then we don't understand why we're so frustrated and tired. We all have very similar lives in the fact that we're trying to do human needs, we're taking care of family or jobs or health, those kind of things.
Right.
But why are some people more successful than others? And that's what we want to talk about. And what I find when people are in that scarcity or they're losing their energy currency, they actually are judgmental of those that have it versus looking at how they can change it. And that's my big thing in teaching. And so part of this is thinking about, let's say, you and I are fortunate because we get to work at home most of the time.
Yeah.
But when you get out there and you're driving and it's just tons of traffic and you're like, wow, people are crazy. We talk about that. Yeah, people are crazy. They're cutting you off. They're driving too fast. And instead,
I feel like Brene Brown, where she talks about how she gets frustrated and so she's flipping them off under the dash.
dash.
I'm like, okay, you're sucking my energy currency.
And what happens with that is our human reaction. But if we have those tools to say, you know what, I'm in a safe car. I know that I'm going to get there.
I have good brakes.
I've got good brakes. I've got good tires. I've got a full tank of gas. And I'm listening to this podcast.
Right.
Everyone else is going this crazy mode, but look at what you are feeling blessed with. And I think we forget to figure out how we're blessed versus our scenario. So if you're in that situation, go, I'm really in gratitude. You're actually winning the jackpot on the casino, getting money back, the currency, because you're adding to that currency versus having the frustration. Is this visually? Okay. Because, sometimes I can go everywhere and not make any sense.
It makes perfect sense. I think I just am still seeing the Pac-Man with the currencies and trying to figure out how you add them back.
Does that mean he has to throw up?
Oh, God. Oh, geez.
To begin to change a lot of this is to find gratitude. And I find that we're a society that looks at what we are successful at or what we're accomplishing, and we compare ourselves many times to other people. And I think that gives us we spend energy currency when we do that versus what we have. And doing this for over 20 years, I don't care how your life looks, everyone has challenges. So whether you have great health or lots of money or great education or whatever, everyone has their stuff. And so it's going back and saying, this is what I have, and I'm in gratitude. And the more you go into gratitude, and the more you lean into that your life doesn't have scarcity, that you are taken care of. And there are going to be moments in all of our lives, including mine, how I got on this path, is there's times that are really tough. But do we look at it as a lesson of learning, or do we look at it as I'm a victim and no one else understands this? And so that's where you're going to use that currency. I can tell you have a thought. No,
I'm listening.
You're listening. Okay, good. So some of the things I was thinking about is when you come in gratitude is go to simple things. Look around your house. Do you have a comfortable couch? And we have a really great comfortable couch. I mean, it needs to be replaced, but we can't get a couch better than that couch right now, right? So we really love it. Do you love your animals? Do you have the idea that you've got heating and water and at least one friend out there that will listen?
So my question would be, okay, so if you're going through the gratitude, how many energy currencies, how many e-coins do you get for your positive thoughts versus how many get taken away for your negative thoughts?
we could do higher for the positive, but let's do it equal. Let's do 25 energy currencies for the positive. So if you have 1,000 and you keep adding 25, what are you going to have at the end of the week, the end of the month? A lot.
But for every negative thought or every time you let somebody suck your energy, you're losing.
And I think you can put your own value on it.
Yeah.
Like if you were just with somebody, let's say you're with your boss or a customer and they are just beating you up. Is that worth 25?
4,000.
Yeah. You just took my whole month's currency right now. I need to replenish it. And that to me is a great way to have not only humor, but think about how do you want to replenish it. Mm-hmm. And none of us are going to have perfect days every day.
Massage, walking on the beach, flying to a beach.
Yeah. Right now we're in Colorado. If you're not here, then yeah. But I think it can be simple things, even like taking a hot bath or drinking your favorite tea or making your favorite meal or watching that show that you've seen 1,000 times. I think anything that gets you into that place of refilling your currency, how do you do that? And if you equal it to a bank account, how do you put money back into your bank account? Mm-hmm. And it is I need to save for, whether it's rainy day or whatever it is, we put that money in there to help us along the way. If you're the individual that feels like you're paycheck to paycheck, start comparing the energy currency to your paycheck because they're kind of in alignment. If you're living a life that feels like every day you're working so hard and you're not moving forward and that's what you believe and that's how you feel, that's going to affect the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. And, everything I teach is about what you send out there is what you get back. But we have a tendency not to really look at our thoughts or that energy actually being validated to currency.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense because every thought you have is thoughts are things. Mm-hmm. And so the universe is going to pick up on every thought you have and run with it because that's what you're manifesting.
And think of it like, let's say you had kind of a tough day at work and you had a couple people that were just annoying. You get in your car and someone parked really close to you and you're feeling it again, like that frustration. You drive and you feel like people are just driving past you very fast, not putting on their blinker. And again, you're feeling this frustration. You go to the grocery store. Again, is there more frustration? So it begins to build up where your energy currency is deleting from itself versus even sitting in the car and saying, you know what, today was not easy, but I have a job. I get to pay my bills and there's things about my job I love. At least I'm not homeless or at least I'm not, go into that gratitude piece, which can be really hard. When you look at the traffic again, put on something that's going to help you feel energized. If it's your favorite music, if it's a podcast, if it's you and I love to listen to books, that really helps us too. And then kind of snapping back when you start to go to that energy again of being angry, say, how much currency am I spending right now here? And you'll start to see the change. I remember the other day we drove up to a ranch and I walked in the door of the grocery store to get a couple of things and already I was triggered. And there's no carts. And I'm asking the security person, like, where's the carts? And he basically blew me off. He's down on his phone, not paying attention. I went to go look for things and I was feeling frustrated with not being able to find things. I wanted to do a quick checkout. So I'm going to go to self-checkout, which I don't always do because I think we need to have employees there. And I was having difficulty and I couldn't get someone's attention. And you're texting me where to find you. And I'm just so angry versus sitting back and taking a deep breath going, why am I in a rush? Why do I have to have this stuff aligned my certain way? Maybe slowing down helped us not get into an accident. Maybe it helped us divert a certain situation that could have happened if I was right on time. But we easily go back into the frustration versus,
it's control.
Yeah, what's the big deal? I'm going to be 10 minutes later than I thought I was going to be. So how much currency did I use for that?
Probably a couple hundred.
Oh, I get in the car and you're going, are you okay? And I'm like, wow. Because that's our human side. But if we can sit back and take a couple deep breaths and go, really, this is first world problems. Is it really? And most of the time I go there. I go this is not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But for some reason I was a little bit agitated, I guess. Yeah. I took your currency.
I fed the slot machine.
Yeah. So, and I don't think this is an easy change, but I think if you look at your energy as currency, I think it's going to help to shift this. And a part of this too is being a little bit in the beginning maybe hyper focused on what you're saying and what you're doing. I don't think we really have a mirror in front of us reflecting what we're doing. So when I was in that situation at the store, I was just really frustrated. I'm thinking, if someone saw me, would they be like, wow, that woman's got some issues over checking out a few items.
Yeah.
There's 6 items and I'm having
a hissy fit.
A hissy fit. Yes, a hissy fit. So again, how do people perceive you, and how are you going to be able to keep the energy that you need? The other thing I'm thinking about too is that people really want to be able to connect with their guides and their loved ones, and they really want to be more intuitive. When we get into that place of negativity and we're not aligned, we can't hear them, and that takes a lot of that energy currency too.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Their vibration is much higher.
And we talk about this when people have lost a loved one and they're grieving. They're using so much energy currency with guilt and shame, and did they do enough, and is their loved one okay, versus maybe it's time to look at the positive things about that person's life, and where did it take you from their loss, and those kind of things, so that your energy can have the ability to connect and feel them around more often. Which I just thought of that. That's so cool.
You think of that every day.
Yeah, just every day. I think too is people think about their jobs sometimes, because so much of our energy is around our careers for most people, and people think, this is so difficult. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. People don't appreciate me. I feel like I'm not rarely recognized. And I think it's changing that too by saying, you know what? I'm good at what I do. I have good ethics. I'm glad I can help other people. Changing the story so much about, because I feel like people a lot of times don't feel appreciated in their careers and their jobs.
Right.
And they're looking for that. Let's say the entire company is doing, everyone there is like, I'm looking for my value and people don't appreciate me. How do you then change that so that you don't need that from them because you have it for yourself? And I think a big part of our lives is that we want other people to validate us.
Yeah.
And that affects our energy currency, because we keep looking on the outside for people to give us a value. I've heard people say, well, I'm doing my job and theirs. Isn't it great that you're able to do both? Not really, but it's the fact that you have this knowledge, you have the ability to help others. And maybe it's that you have to figure out boundaries, or making some changes, or having a voice to say, this is not what I want to do, versus complaining and taking away that currency again. And I hear this a lot.
Yeah.
Like you never think I appreciate you. I know that all the time. She never appreciates me.
That's so funny. Well, we had this with one of our kids recently, and his work life, the people that are in his work life are not communicating correctly as bosses, and
leadership.
So there's no leadership. Yeah. And so coaching him to be a leader for himself rather than wait for somebody to lead him. So it's just interesting.
It is. And I think that's the thing of, where's the boundaries and where is your own, toot your own horn and use your energy currency to make yourself valuable.
Right.
Like, this is my value. This is what I can do. I'm good at this. Where do we work this out?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And I think for most people, their jobs identify who they are. And so they're looking for that pat on the back, that acknowledgement, and we're not always going to get it. So we think about those leaders, maybe they're not getting it either.
Yeah, maybe they weren't taught how to be leaders.
They're not taught how to recognize this. So again,
so they're taking our e-coins.
They're taking our e-coins. I think we should patent that. So I guess bottom line here is I'm going to recommend that if you're going to really look at this, take 21 days at least to document, or however it works for you, whatever's easiest, where your energy is spent during the day.
Just jot it down, yeah. Write it down when you have negative thoughts, positive thoughts. See where you're at the end of, just take a day.
Yeah.
Just one day. Start there.
Well, I've always told people to wear that rubber band, and snap it, because I think that's that awareness. So if that helps you to, snap it, or
even make a hash mark on a piece of paper. Negative and positive columns.
Yeah.
And hash mark.
Yeah, and I think if you start adding that up and you look at each, what is it called?
Hash mark.
Hash mark being 25 energy coins, currency, that's going to tell you how much you're using.
Good idea.
And when you get off a call, or if you end up, driving, how many thoughts were negative and how many thoughts were positive?
Or gratitude.
Or gratitude. And how many times did you change it after you recognize that it was a negative thought? And I think what I really want people to know is you're not a victim.
Mm-hmm.
People show up like, I'm the victim, this is happening to me, versus you are the person that can change your life.
Mm-hmm.
And other people are there, but you have to decide how you want to voice it, what your boundaries are, what your value is. And instead, what you're doing is you're giving them your energy currency,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get angry.
Yeah, it's the anger, I think, that takes a lot of energy. So let's say you're in a situation and somebody's just absorbing all your e-coins. How do you get yourself out of that situation?
Well, do like Brene Brown and flip them off. You know? I think you have to learn, and I know I've done this, is learn how to cut that situation off, first of all. Like, I don't feel really well, or I need to get back to you, or whatever it is.
I have to run to the restroom to wash my hands, whatever, wash it away.
And then think about how you want to respond. And the more that you learn how to respond, then it's going to be more your normal versus...
And less energy expense.
I think when you start realizing that they're taking from you and you don't want them to, you can see that you really have the power. People think, oh, I don't have the power, I can't do that. Well, you're being beat up and you're accepting it, so there's no reason why you can't change that. And versus being the victim that it's all happening to you. I think there's times where people are victims, literally victims. And how do they change that? But when it's everyday life of things and you feel that way, like someone cutting you off, or someone cutting in line, or someone not listening or hanging up on you, or even the fact trying to make reservations and you take forever to get through, we're frustrated. So how do you look at that as an energy exchange or currency and say,
geez, I lost some e-coins today.
You did. That's what made me think about it. You were on the phone. And really like, okay, what can I do instead? While I'm sitting here on hold, do I water my plants? Right? What else can I do that can make me feel like I'm still earning those energy currencies? And again, we're going back to science. Everything is energy. You can't destroy it. You can't create it. So what are you going to do with your energy currency? Right? Cool. So thanks for joining us again on Spirited Straight Talk. We hope that you earn a lot of energy currency.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. Each Monday is a new episode of Spirited Straight Talk. Make sure you hit follow so you don't miss any of the guidance or bonus episodes. Your experience at the show means a lot to us, and we would love for you to leave a review or let us know about more topics you would like Deb to explore. You can also follow Deb on social media and connect with her website at debshepherd.com. That's DEBSHEPPARD.com. If you want to join Deb on one of the shows or have a reading from her on the show, you can submit a request on the podcast page of her website. Thank you again, and see you next week.